What is up, y'all? I'm Mike D. This is the Whack and Check, and if you're here, you already know what's going on. Right off the rip, the storms that come through here are crazy. Check on your people. We had a tornado touchdown here in town. I know that everybody down south is getting pummeled. So, first off and foremost, I hope everybody's safe. Check on your people. Family's all that matters. Secondly, we hit 1,000 subs, people. A little over a month. We've done it. I'm a few view hours short of hitting monetized, but that's not the whole point of the channel. I put a poll out on YouTube earlier. Want to know what you guys wanted seen for the next few videos or something like that. Just give me ideas of what the audience actually wanted. So far, holiday toys and gifts like that are winning. So I'm going to run with that because it segues into something that I had recently just learned about. I had to do a little bit of research on it, but it's Montessori toys. Do your research, do your due diligence, and check this out. But I could totally get behind the concept of it because it kind of goes with what I've got in mind with the shop. They're very basic, simplistic toys, made of wood usually, but they force the user to develop mentally through imagination and head and eye coordination. All the things that a tablet don't do. See where we're going here? Yeah. So I was informed about it today from a lady from work. I checked it out, and I can totally get behind it. I've done a little bit of research, checking the prices on them. They usually come in like sets or an assembly of such toys, but they fetch a pretty good bank for as basic as they are. And I'm going to throw a blade on this bandsaw, and we're going to get into making a couple. Stick around. Materials we're working with today is a scrap cut off of pine, a scrap 2x4, and some dowels. No particular special tools for this. We're going to use the bandsaw and a drill. These right here, I don't know exactly what they're called. I'm sure it's got some fancy name that I can't call, but whenever I worked in law enforcement, we'd use things like these to draw up crashes. We called them the green weenie. For the sake of me not losing my mind, we're going to use the green weenie. And there's no exact template for this, but they are going to be played with by kids. So we're going to kind of stray from leaving any jagged edges or anything like that on it. I don't think that would really go with the whole flow of things. So we've only drew one. Once we cut this out, we're going to use this for a template on the other half of this. And this piece will come into play later. We got these cut out and got them sanded. We'll do another sanding after we get it fully assembled. I just wanted smooth edges on them so I could bring you to the next part. Get you something that's a circle. I don't care if it's a paint bottle or whatever. And you're going to find where you want the wheels to be on this. And you're going to draw a half circle in that area. And we'll match it up with a Forstner bit of comparative size. So, like that. We're building a car today. Kids love cars. You got wheels, they move, no batteries, easy to take care of. Take your scrap piece of 2x4, lay that on the outside, and here's your chance to get wild with it. We want our car to have a little bit of a hood scoop. And a spoiler on the back of it because, it's got wheels. It's going to go fast, right? So we're going to trace out the full outline of it with whatever details you want sitting in the middle of the car itself. We're going to take it down here to the bandsaw and take off from there. All right. Bandsaw's here. 2x4 should be able to cut through this. This is a new blade. If not, jigsaw will work, but we're going to give it a shot with this for expedient sake. All right, so it's cut out. Of course, we need to do some sanding on it. Still got saw marks and everything from the relief cuts. But now that we see what it's going to look like with the side pieces on, we can do the rest of the relief cuts and the side panels, just match them up. So I'll bring it down here. Maybe. And I personally think that we need a swoop or something right here in the front to make it look all race car like. Someone give it one. All right, so got our Forstner bit chucked up. We're going to use the bigger one, 1 3/8 for the rear wheel well. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and set these on top of each other again. While they're lined up, use that first cut as a guide for the second. Just like so. All right, now that we've got both of the sides of our car cut out, notched out, pretty much where we want them, little race car. We're going to use our hole saws. We're going to cut up wheels to fit through this. We're going to use the dowel to set an axle in it. But before we get into that, look at it. Hold it in your hand. As awkward as that sounds, don't hold. I mean, you can, but not on YouTube. Just, you know what I mean. So anything that a kid could like get poked on, which also sounds horrible with previous context, sand it around, make it smooth, make it enjoyable. We got everything marked out the way we want it. We got a rough sanding, but pretty cool looking sanding going on. Threw some curves into it. The only thing that I actually didn't like about the Montessori toys that I had observed earlier was, man, they were just plain Jane blocky. Like, there was no shaping done to them whatsoever. We're not going to do that here. Like I said, I like angles, I like curves. So we're going to glue this little dude up. Let it set while I go grab some dinner. I'm going to come back here. We're going to sand it, put some wheels on it, and you best believe that I'm going to play with this car before I cut this video. All right, I'm back, and the world is shy one taco salad, but it had to be done, and I put it out with misery. It was quick, painless, but it happened. Back to the build. Take your Forstner bits, put it inside the wheel well, make sure it spins freely, give it a little press, do the same thing in the back. Now you got the holes for your axles marked. You're going to drill straight through with a drill press or a drill, doesn't really matter. And you want to go bigger than the size of the dowel you're using for the axle. That way it's got room to freely roll around in there, and it's not just a brick that looks like a race car. All right, so we're going to drill the axles. Like I said, just use a bit that's just a tad bit smaller than the actual dowel you're going to use so it can spin freely. One thing I would recommend doing is get a 2x4 or something that you know has a flat surface. I planed these down, or excess from a previous project. If you're going to use a drill press, lay that flat on your table. Set the bottom of your car up against it to where it's flat and at a 90. That way it'll help keep your drill bit straight as it goes through. Got our axle holes drilled, everything. Easiest way to mark this, I mean, yeah, you can use a tape or whatever, but chances are if you've been sanding on it, it's going to change a little bit, and you still might have to taper down the front end. So take your dowel, feed it through. Take your pull saw and mark it just on the outside. We'll sand these down, but that'll be your front axle, and we'll be able to put some tires on this. Tokyo drifting around this bad boy in no time. Once you get your circles cut out for the tires, put them on a dowel, chuck them up in your drill, go through your grits, 80, 120, all the way up to 600. Just smoothing them off. You want them to be able to rotate freely. It only takes a couple seconds. It's all said and done. Chef 4, rounded off, fairly smooth tires. We need to get a drill bit that's relatively just a little bit smaller than the axle holes. And we'll put the wheels on this bad boy, give it some final sanding, and we'll play with it. All right, so this little dude turned out actually pretty cool. Figured I'd wait till you guys were around before I put the feed and wax on it. All right, y'all. Build's done. Turned out to be a pretty cool race car. I dig it. The 2-ton effect just kind of like icing on the cake. I didn't expect it to be that big of a drastic difference, but kind of goes with the race car vibe. I dig it. See, like Vin Diesel just popping the clutch and riding out. No. But 1,000 subscribers is awesome. Can't thank y'all enough. The deepest, darkest parts of my heart. You guys are phenomenal. I want to keep this going. I could think of like a million different uses for these things, and they're from like nurseries, the offices, the actual toys. When it comes down to it, it's a scrap piece of plywood and a 2x4 that you were probably going to burn or throw away, or it was going to lay in the corner in your unused material stuff. But Etsy sells them, and some other online store sells them for like that much. And I couldn't sleep with myself at night if I'd done that. Put them in a package deal, doing 3 or 4, and you can still make a pretty good profit off of them. They're not that hard to build. I think it took me about 15, 20 minutes to build that one if you don't count the time that it took the glue to dry up and film this. So before I get off here, I got a few things I got to like run across with y'all real quick. Follow the advice of a couple of the content creators from YouTube that I've been kind of like learning from as I go. They suggest that I open up a Patreon shop or a Patreon page. I've done that. It's under the Whack and Shack. Stop by, say hi, all that good stuff. I don't know about paid memberships and all that stuff like that, but I can post stuff there that I can't post here, like shop bloopers where I lose my cool, scream and cuss for a few minutes. Can't do this stuff on YouTube. It really hurts the whole algorithm thing. But you can do it on Patreon, so it'd be good to laugh at me as I act like a moron, nearly cut my fingers off, all that good stuff. And just generally forget to plug stuff in about have a stroke thinking that my tools that I've had to repair a million times are broken, bit the bullet for good. Want to do a couple chats on there, get to know you guys a little bit better if y'all want to. Also want to show you some other stuff like in the shop. Like you guys see me make the smaller stuff, the boxes, shelves, bowls, things like that. But like I said earlier, I've got a full CNC set up, a badass laser set up, and I do like events and stuff like that. And that's really where I make my bread and butter at. I do a lot of custom orders, so on that, I'd like to maybe segue and take some of you guys that are more interested in that stuff into that. Talk about craft show setups, CNC files, laser files, stuff like that. I just think that, if you want to segue away from like the restrictions of YouTube, that would be the place to do it. Like I said, I'm not really into paid memberships and all that stuff like that. I don't know anything about it, so why would I charge you for something that I have no idea what I'm doing? But with that being said, God bless. I love y'all. Get out there, make something with your hands, get dirty, play in your sawdust. Peace. I'm out.